welcome back. Lacey here with a Sweet Pea Chef, and today I'm going to show you how to grill a pizza. Yes, you can totally grill a pizza. It is super tasty and shockingly easy to do. I'm going to show you all the steps you need. I've partnered with the Home Depot and Weber. I'm going to be using my Weber Spirit 2 grill to show you how to do everything, and we're also going to be making a maple onion jam to spread over our grilled pizza, along with some shaved Brussels sprouts, some ricotta cheese, all sorts of goodness. Plus, you're gonna wanna stick around until the end because I have a really fun surprise to share with you. All right, so let's start grilling some pizza. Let's get started. Okay, so I wanted to do a really fun winter kind of vibe for this grilled pizza. So instead of your normal pizza sauce, we are gonna be using a maple onion jam that is just so tasty and really, really easy. So in order to get that started, we need to start heating a skillet or a deep stock pot over medium-high heat. Then we're gonna add in some olive oil. Then add in some thinly sliced yellow onions, coconut sugar, some minced garlic, sea salt, a little bit of ground nutmeg, and some black pepper, and then toss all of this to combine really well. We're gonna cook this for about 15 to 20 minutes, tossing occasionally, and what we're looking for is for the onions to start to really caramelize and become this really delicious looking golden brown color. If along the way you find that the onions start to stick to the bottom of the pan, just add a little bit of water in there and then stir it again, and that should help it along. Once everything looks perfectly caramelized, we're gonna add in some apple cider vinegar and a little bit of pure maple syrup and then stir to combine. Now, allow this to cool just a little bit, and then we're gonna transfer it into a food processor. We're not looking to make a full-on puree here. We just wanna chop everything up to make it pretty smooth, but a little bit chunky still. So just pulse it a good 6 to 8 times in your food processor, and then that, my friends, is your onion and maple jam that is gonna be going on our pizza, and it's super tasty. It's good as a spread, it's good as a topping for other things. It is very, very tasty. So hold on to that while we get our pizza dough started. For our grilled pizza, we're gonna be making a homemade whole wheat pizza crust, and it is so easy to do. It doesn't require any yeast or anything. In a large bowl, all you gotta do is combine some whole wheat pastry flour, some baking powder, and some sea salt, and then whisk all of this together until it's very, very well combined. Then in a separate bowl, we're gonna combine a little bit of water and some olive oil, and then whisk that together. Now we're gonna pour our wet mixture into our dry mixture, and we're gonna stir it all together to incorporate. You'll notice that a dough starts to form here, and we're looking for a dough that is kind of sticky, but not overly sticky. If you can't do anything and it keeps sticking to your hands, you can go ahead and add a little bit of whole wheat pastry flour, a tablespoon at a time, and then incorporate that again. If, on the other hand, you find that it's a little too dry, you can always add in a little bit more water and then incorporate that. We're going to get that ball of dough formed, and then we're gonna knead that for about 5 to 6 minutes, using your hands, just getting all of that dough working. We want that gluten to start working so that our dough becomes nice and chewy when we bake it. Now transfer your ball of dough onto a clean and lightly floured flat surface. We're gonna use a rolling pin to roll it all out into a large circle. If you don't have a rolling pin, you can always just use your hands and kind of stretch everything out together. If you find that it kind of starts shrinking back on itself, go ahead and roll it out as far as you can and then let it sit for about 4 to 5 minutes. Adding that little bit of time can help make it easier to spread out. For our pizza crust, we want it to be very flat. We don't want to have any edges for a crust around the sides, and I'm going to show you why when we're grilling we don't do that in just a few minutes. All right, so now we have our dough nicely ready to go, so let that set for a minute while we prep our Brussels sprouts. If you've never had shaved Brussels sprouts before, they're really tasty. They're good raw or cooked, and they make a great topping to a pizza, or they get added to a salad for a nice texture and crunch. So they are perfect for our grilled pizza that we're gonna be making. There's a ton of different ways that you can shred your Brussels sprouts. You can just thinly slice it with a knife, you can use a mandolin, you can shred it in a food processor. All we're looking for is that the Brussels sprouts are shredded so that they're not a giant bite of Brussels sprouts. You want it to kind of be like shredded lettuce. Now it is time to get our grill heated up, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn on my Weber grill. I'm looking for it to get to about 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're gonna leave the lid closed so that all that heat stays in the grill. You'll know the grill is ready for your pizza when you can't hold your hand over the grates for more than about 2 seconds before it gets too hot. That means it's gonna be the perfect grilling temperature for our pizza. I also like to rub a little bit of olive oil on the grates to make sure that my pizza doesn't stick. It's super easy to do. I use a clean rag and I dab it into some olive oil, and then I cover all of the top surfaces of my grates so that when the pizza goes on there, it slides on there. Now we're going to carefully grab our pizza crust and we're gonna transfer it out onto our hot, preheated, and oiled grill. You may need to use your fingers a little bit to kind of maneuver your pizza crust to make sure it is a nice even area on your grill. But overall, it's not gonna fall through the grates, so don't worry about that. Now we're gonna close the cover of our Weber grill and we're gonna let this go and grill for about 2 to 4 minutes. You'll know the pizza is ready on this bottom side when you can see grill marks along the bottom of the crust. And you'll also notice that some bubbles start to form on the top layer of your pizza crust. That means you are doing something right. Now we're gonna carefully remove our pizza crust from the grill. You can use either a cookie sheet, your hands, or you can use a pizza peel, which is what I have. Any of those will do. We're gonna transfer that into our kitchen where we can add all of our toppings. Remember, while we're putting our toppings on our pizza, go ahead and close the grill so everything stays nice and hot when we go back outside. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna flip our pizza over and we're gonna add our toppings to the grilled side of your pizza crust. So we're gonna start by adding a layer of our maple onion jam and spread it generously over our entire pizza crust, leaving a little bit of space around the edges. Remember when you're spreading out the maple onion jam that you wanna have a good layer, but not a super heavy layer. The reason why we do that is because when we add all of our toppings to the pizza and then we put it back out onto the grill, a lot of that stuff is gonna release more moisture when it cooks, and so that will release liquid out onto our pizza. The more stuff you put on there and pile on, the more liquid gets released, the soggier the pizza. So we wanna do a nice, respectable, but hearty levels of our toppings. Then we're gonna grab olive oil and brush it around just the edges where your crust would be on our pizza crust. This is gonna make it stay a nice texture and get not too overly dried out when it goes back on the grill. Now over our maple onion jam, we are going to put some very thinly sliced cremini mushrooms, followed by our shredded Brussels sprouts. Make sure to get everything nice and even on there. Then we're gonna add some very thinly sliced garlic cloves. These are gonna be so good when it's time to eat the pizza. Now I'm gonna add a few dollops of some full fat ricotta cheese across the pizza, which is gonna give it a very nice, rich and creamy texture. And just a little bit of freshly grated fresh mozzarella to top it off because pizza and mozzarella need to be together. If you wanted to add some meat to this pizza, you could do that now, but we are just focusing on delicious winter and fall veggies, so we are not gonna be doing that today. All right, now it is time to transfer our pizza back onto our grill. No need to oil the grates this time. You can use a little bit of cornmeal underneath the pizza to help it kind of slide along as it goes onto your grill. So that's a really easy tip to make things slide. You just put a little bit of cornmeal underneath on a peel or on your cookie sheet, whatever you're using to transfer your pizza crust. Now that we have our pizza back on the grill, we're gonna close the lid and we're gonna let it cook for about 4 to 6 minutes. I know, it's super fast, it's awesome. You'll know when the pizza is ready when you can see grill lines on the bottom of your pizza crust. And you'll also notice that the cheese starts to melt a little bit, the vegetables become more tender, and you might see a little bit more bubbles coming through on the sauce. I love using this Weber grill to grill pizza, you guys, because it's just so tasty. The flavors are so different than what you might be used to for a pizza. Plus, grilling it adds that extra char lines to it, which just makes the pizza crust really tasty. And it's just so easy, easy cleanup, easy prep, easy cooking. It's just awesome. So lay our grilled pizza out on our flat surface. Again, we're gonna let it set for about 5 minutes to get all gelled and start to cool before we slice it into pieces. To slice your pizza, you can use either a large chef knife or a pizza cutter. Whatever you have will work. Just divide it into half then into half, and then divide those halves into halves until you have all these delicious pizza slices waiting for you. Okay, so this grilled pizza is pretty delicious. It's super easy, and you will not believe the looks you get when you say that you grilled this pizza and added shaved Brussels sprouts to it. It's super impressive as well to guests. Thanks so much to the Home Depot for sharing this Weber grill with us, to make this grilled pizza, for sponsoring this recipe. You guys definitely want to check out the Spirit 2 Weber Grill series, or check out any of the Weber grills at the Home Depot because they have a ton of different options to suit your needs. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today, and I do have that special surprise that I promised I wanted to share with you. I'm giving away this Weber grill as a thank you because you are awesome, and I wanted to show how great I think you are. I hope you win. I hope you head on over to the blog right now and check it out. You can make grilled pizza, you can do the fall meal prep, which is another great video to check out, on the grill. You can do all sorts of great things, and Weber grills are awesome, so I wish you the best of luck. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.